Go to TAPgiles.com to learn dreams, engage my services, and support the channel. So I tried out this thing to make a quick 2D graph. You can kind of make graphs by emitting objects, like emitting a paint fleck or a sculpt, whatever. But that tends to be take a lot more thermo than this method, which is like super quick and easy. And this is tied to the speed that the character is moving. So when I'm jumping and stuff, it's higher, and I creep around, it's slower, and stuff like that. But you can like draw whatever graph of whatever you want to from this. The main thing is it's made using strokes of paint, or one stroke of paint in fact. So if I get paint and I'll use the grid and I'll make it black and use rule flex so I can just draw a line. Cool. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with just paint, and one of them is animate it. So if I play time and give it some playback speed, you can see all the flecks they appear here and then move to the right just by themselves. And if I lower the fleck density, that puts gaps between them, you can see what's happening. All the flecks are following the line across here. And if I like move this around, then I'll just move it around with a action recorder actually, like that, and then just leave it playing. So all these flecks move with the along the stroke, but they move with the painting object. So if the painting object moves, then the rest of the flecks move with it, unless you turn on jet trail. And now a new one is created and will move along as if the painting never moved from that spot. So it follows the same stroke, the same line. So now it kind of looks like a graph. And if we turn down the fleck density, turn up the fleck density again, now you can see it's like drawing a proper graph, and you can affect how fast it moves along with the graph like that. And just so it's easier to see them, I'm going to turn up the looseness like that. And now, instead of moving it with that, we can move it with a keyframe. So if I use precise move and just move it straight up, then while this keyframe is on, it will be up there, and when it's off, it will be down there. But you can half power a keyframe. So if I use a value slider to power it, I can power it to halfway. And that affects, so at full power, it's all the way to what it recorded, which is at the top. With no power, it's at the bottom, and then anything in between will kind of interpolate between the top and the bottom. So now we can go to this puppet and get a movement sensor. And we want a range of a percentage to go into this keyframe, so we get the full, we can get the graph to work properly. Cool, so let's see what values that gives us. I'm going to use just velocity overall into this number displayer so I can see the numbers that's sending. And as I run around, I'm getting up to 3.5, which is cool. When we jump, then it's gets up to 5 or 4.5 or something. So if we need to change that into a percentage. So if we use a signal manipulator, we can remap the values we're getting from this into another range of values. So plug that in there and use custom remapper mode, and we get these graphs. So on this side, let's just go into test mode. On the left side is the inputs, and on the right side is the outputs. So the inputs is expecting a range from 0 to 1, but as we jump around and stuff, we're getting bigger numbers than that. So now if we click on remap thresholds, then it will use the data it's collected here and change these thresholds to match that, to cover all that. So now So the biggest one we got was 8.06, but it doesn't matter because now it's shrinking all that down into a range from 0 to 1, which is a percentage we can use. And put that into the keyframe. And now as I move, the keyframe is moving it up. So then it's like showing us a graph of how we're moving around. And if you want this to be a bigger graph, we can just move that up there. I can see it's giving us full graph. Cool. What we can also do is give it some, so if I just remove that, and to generate some values so I can test it. Okay, so if I say in the painting settings, there's these duplicates, the duplicates tab. If I turn on inside sphere and then make the spread really small, that's like they're being copied inside that sphere automatically. So if I make that really small, then you get kind of a thicker line, and we can in here turn up the time offset, which will help with that as well. And now even with a faster movement of this, we still get a fairly solid line. So let's put the movement back into it. Yay! And now we've got a graph. You can kind of use the signal manipulator to look at the graph there, but if you want this to be in the scene or have some more complicated stuff you want to do, then you can just use a single paint stroke to do it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something interesting. Go to patreon.com/TAPgiles to learn something new every day.